All right, seventh grade science. Did you guys miss me? Or did you just come from another one of my videos? Well, let's dive into the curriculum map landing page today. Let me show you what we're talking about. Share my screen. Sharon, get rid of that. All right. So when I talk about the curriculum landing page, and I want to start at the scope and sequence, so we start where we were and jump to the new spot. That's going to be linked up to the top for where it says quarter one. And so you can click there. Now you can also get here through the district website, the science website. You can have this linked up in your bookmarks, all sorts of way to get here. But here we are. This is the curriculum map. This also includes the new pacing guide, which is down here. We'll get there. But I just call this entire document the curriculum map. So the pacing guide is just built into the curriculum map as opposed to linking it to another resource. And then when I reference the landing page, that's what this lesson is about. I'm talking about the page one, okay? And that kind of helps overview the entire unit. Remember, if we look at our unit for seventh grade, unit one is quarter one. You finish the first unit by the end. So this is the unit one landing page or the quarter one landing page, whichever one you want. I want to go through this one in some detail. We'll jump down to here in some future videos, but how do you use this to help plan out your unit so you have a cohesive unit, students tie everything together, and it's not all different topics, okay? So unit one for seventh grade is matter all around. If you actually click this link, it takes you to the Discovery Ed, what their unit landing page is. And I've modeled how ours looks like based off how they've thought through you using this, where you start with the anchoring phenomena. And there's different ways to introduce this to students. I'll show you that in a second. You preview your unit project because at the end, students do a project, but you want to make sure that you look at this prior. What are the skills and the knowledge students need to be able to do that? And then it breaks down your three concepts, 1, 2, 3, and you can even get to the concepts this way. So I've done a similar thing with mine. Over here, we have our unit phenomena, we have our unit project, and our guiding questions. So let's start there. Every unit has a unit phenomena. It introduces students to an idea of something they're familiar with, but maybe they don't have the exact scientific explanation for what it is. In this case, it's the materials that make up things, and it talks about prosthesis. Now, there are different ways that you can introduce this idea to students, and I've linked those down here. They have varying different times and engagement levels. Some are videos, some are class discussions. We'll cover that in more detail when we go through the pacing guide, but there's different ways to introduce the phenomenon. You want to kind of preview these questions with students because by the end of the unit, these are questions students should be able to answer. You can even put these on like a test to see how well students are good at answering this, not just answering, but using scientific explanation of vocabulary to fully understand and better answer these. You also have the unit project, which is at the end. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Where students take all of their knowledge and skills and they're able to produce something out of it. So this one is about the Brooklyn Bridge. Again, it's about the materials. It's similar to the performance assessments where you got some text and a video, and then it tells them that they're going to create a presentation to describe the material that they chose in class. There'll be some more details for you as the teacher, and they're going to create a presentation. And it even has the evaluation criteria, like a grading rubric for how that looks like for students. So those projects will be a good hands-on demonstration of student learning, but you want to make sure that you look at this before you start the unit, so that way you can plan ahead for what are the things students need to know to be successful in that moving forward. I took all of this and I put that, as well as some of the pictures from Discovery Ed, into a unit poster, which helps students, yourself, and admin keep in mind what is it that we're striving for. And so recognize the picture, that's from Discovery Ed. You've got your phenomena, your 3 different concepts that you're going through in your questions. If you see the background pictures, the Golden Gate Bridge, that's from the project. And so having these, and I actually have posters that are about yay big, about the size of that poster there, that I'll drop off for you guys. But you can also make your own. You got the PDF if you want to make a bigger one or something like that. These are great for posting like on your door or where students are walking in of your class. So they see this like daily and they remember, oh yeah, we're learning all these things so we can answer and better explain the phenomena or answer these questions. It's also good for your administration or instructional coaches to come in and say, what are they trying to answer and learn in these different concepts? So excellent, post these up. They look cool. Helps remind everybody where we're going in this unit. Let's jump over here. These are just links going straight down. They're bookmarks. Just in case you're on the 3rd concept, you don't want to scroll. This will take you all the way down, but it's on the same document. So those are just bookmarks. Now, let's say science wasn't really your thing. You kind of got put in this situation. You're a sub, or math was more of your thing. You got thrown into science. Okay, well, maybe there's some spots in this topic that you're a bit rusty on, or maybe you just want to really get some ideas to share with students. Discovery Ed actually has some teacher background information for each concept. And so you can find these in the teacher's manual, but they are also linked here for you guys. So I'll let this load up. But typically they're 1 page. It's possible that some are more than 1. But as you can see, it really just like, hey, here's this concept. Here's the background you need. And you might even find some useful information here to share with students throughout the unit. But hopefully that helps get everybody on the same page in terms of what this unit's about and what content knowledge a teacher would need moving forward. So those are very useful. Proficiency scales we talked about in the scope and sequence page. Those are here as well as assessments. I talked about how we want to teach towards a test, but not teach to a test. And so I put the summative assessments and the performative assessments linked here as well. So you can look at those questions, think about what's the vocabulary and the skills and the knowledge that we need to focus on throughout this unit. Coming down here, what you have is a district resource. This is probably going to look different by the time school year starts. I'm trying to really plan out what are useful things to put there. I've got a few other ideas I want to throw on there, but like you need a link to get to Discovery Ed. There you go. Gizmos, you have that as well as the science resource help, which we're working on. That'll be actually a K-12 website. I'll also have here, I haven't moved to put it onto the curriculum pages yet, but there'll be a link to a survey, a Google form, where I want teachers to provide feedback on the different aspects of the curriculum map, the resource. There's 2 different parts of that. Some are just rating 1 to 5, and then some are open-ended questions. I want to take your guys' feedback and build out this curriculum map to be better and more useful. I actually ran that as a test through summer school, got great feedback from the teachers, and I'm thinking through ways that I can make this better. So think of this as a version 1, and we're going to enhance this as the year goes on. So the link will be here, as well as I'll push out that in emails as we lead up to the end of quarters. All right, back over to here. How does this fit in the K-12 vertical alignment? This will take you through different concepts and what concepts are taught in each grade. And this one does the same thing, but with standards. What this could be useful for is if you're thinking about the background knowledge, what have students learned about this concept prior to this year? You could jump here, and so that way you can help build out your scaffold. And this is actually one of the feedback I got from the surveys was some of our students are missing those because they came from a different school district or from out of the country. And so we need to think about, okay, if they miss these grades, they don't have this background knowledge. So how can we build that into our lessons to make sure all of our students are successful? So I'm going to try to build this out to be more useful in terms of scaffolding. More on that in the future. The unit outline map is similar to the poster, but it's more teacher focused, not something you post up on the wall. It's really outlining for you, what's my flow here? It's like a 1-pager for the unit. So what's my phenomenon? Previewing the unit. Here are my 3 concepts. Do the project. unit performance-based assessment. It kind of that's your map for how you go about doing things. Could be useful for you to look at and have available so that way you know. And you can actually find these in the teacher's books if you got those. I just used an iPad, took a picture of it, so that way we had it digitally. And lastly, as you go through some of these units, sometimes the topics seem very disconnected. It's like, how did all this get put together? This unit storyline helps connect each of the topics that you're talking about into one story. What are we trying to answer here? How do we connect from this topic to that one? And so that's where this really comes in handy, is this storyline here to help frame everything in your mind for what this unit is supposed to look like. So I think that's incredibly helpful. So that is 7th grade Unit 1 landing page for the curriculum map. In my future videos, I'll go over these guys, the pacing guides, how those can be used. This is like your really use a lot of, I'm hoping, and where you'll spend most of your time. So that video coming next. I'll also do a video on just discovery education, how they set things up, how to navigate. I'll probably tier that so it's like new to discovery ed, here you go. Want the basics, here's my advanced, extra stuff. But hopefully this has been a great video for you for how do I use this front page to plan out my unit. And I'm really, really hopeful that you guys have a great year. And I'm always one email away. All right. Thank you so much, you guys. I'll catch you in the next video.